Hello and welcome to Business Growth Strategy. This is a presentation by RevStream Marketing, and I'm Patrick O'Donnell. Today we're talking about how to use what is working in marketing to attract more clients and close more sales. It's going to be a quick, no fluff. We're just going to go through and talk about the trends and case studies on what is working right now in 2017. Those case studies will include 4 quick examples. 1, a contractor who got 5 times the return on their marketing spend, a health company that increased the Fortune 500 business, a gym that doubled membership twice, and a training facility that exploded growth and revenue. And as we get into this, I think a lot of people are sometimes not doing what they need to do marketing-wise. According to CMO Council, only 2% of senior marketing leaders consider their existing approach to demand generation highly effective. So hopefully after this today, we'll get a little bit closer to getting you closer to that highly effective demand generation. Going to start off with the top trends in 2017. This is a combination of what Smart Insights, Entrepreneur, Inc., and Forbes, and several different publications put out as their top trends in 2017, those that were mentioned most often and what's been working for us and our clients in our campaigns recently. So first off, talk through mobile marketing. Then we'll go into content marketing, and I know we've talked about this a lot in the past, but we're going to dive into 4 specific areas of that: strategic, visual, interactive, and native. And then on to number 3, marketing automation, and 4th is the outsourced marketing executives. So jumping right in, this comes from Smart Insights, the digital marketing activities with the greatest commercial impact in 2017. Content marketing, again, leading the way like it has most every year recently. And then right behind it, marketing automation and mobile marketing. So we will be hitting all 3 of those today. And then moving on to the next topic is, how much do companies budget for their marketing? Often a question we get: what should the spend be? How do you get return? Well, to us, you shouldn't spend anything if you're not going to make money doing it. The point is to get a higher return, get positive return on investment, and make more profit from doing marketing. But typically, since people ask, marketing operating budgets as a percentage of company revenue is what this chart shows from Gartner. Total about 10.4%. So between that 10 and 11% as a percentage of company revenue is what companies typically do spend. This from the Wall Street Journal earlier this year, report done by the CMO survey and Deloitte Digital. They showed that the marketing budgets amount for about 11% of the company budget. So hopefully that helps when you're thinking about numbers. Moving on to our first trend is mobile marketing. And Forbes said the future is mobile. I think probably a lot of other people have said that too. Obviously, we now know more people are browsing via mobile than desktop, and obviously all companies need to make sure it is a good experience for their users on mobile. Google's Mobile First Index, you've probably heard a lot about that too. The idea being the search engine is doing their search based on what they see in mobile. It's mobile first. Obviously, they've said you have to have mobile-friendly websites for quite a while, or you'll be deducted in the search rankings. And I think the lesson here from mobile marketing, you really want to make sure to cater your content, your ads, and your online experience to the mobile user. Now, obviously, like I just said, the website needs to be mobile friendly, mobile responsive, something that when people pull it up on their phone, they're going to be able to clearly see your site and interact with it. Mobile ads are obviously getting more and more popular. If you scroll down anything, I mean, looking at Facebook feeds, how many of those ads are on there? You're seeing mobile video ads everywhere. It's just growing more and more popularity. And then mobile apps that can go further and customize the experience. A lot of companies creating their own apps to have a customized experience for their users. Another big piece of this is mobile being used for lead generation and automatic follow-up. We'll get into that later in a little bit more of our case studies. Secondly is content marketing. Again, it's almost like it's an overused term now just because people know how important it is to create good content. Let's start with the first part of this is strategic. You can't just go out and start throwing stuff up like, hey, I'm going to get on social. I'm going to start posting this or posting that. If you don't have a plan, it doesn't make sense and it can actually hurt you. Start off with creating a strategic plan and a content calendar to connect. What this means is come up with a strategy, what you want to communicate, when you want to communicate it. Think about what your in-company goals are and have the content lead up to it. As you see in the second point, it's give value. You want to educate. People nowadays want to be educated. They don't want to be sold to. That's why we say typically you're going to do value, 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 and then pitch. Give people things of value, maybe 3 emails in a row or 3 posts in a row, whatever it is, and then you can do your pitch for what you want to sell. And then it's all about providing answers to. The answers to commonly asked questions. People ask, well, what's the cost of things? What's the problem? How can you solve it? They have an issue. They look for comparisons, like X versus Y versus Z. Which one should they use and why? Reviews on products. A lot of this is just giving people what they need, when they want it, how they can be educated, and it's gaining their trust along the way. So we go from there. The second big trend in content marketing is visual. And again, this has been around for years too, but it just continues to grow. Visual content marketing is really based on video, infographics, and images, really for the point to encourage sharing. Because these are the type of things that people share more often and are more likely to get passed around social media and other outlets. Also, they're great for engaging people. Like, you think of video. I mean, people can see, hear, feel the emotion. See the examples down here on the screen. Being able to give a testimonial for $1 million home led to this home builder being able to sell over $1 million home sight unseen to a person. The other is when you're getting companies that need to hear and see what's going on. You can say so much about yourself, but when you have a client or a customer giving a testimonial about you, it just goes that much further to make it more impactful. Moving on, next area of content marketing that's growing this year is interactive. And you've probably seen these a lot too, just in your own web browsing. But quizzes, assessments, polls, surveys, brackets, contests, all those types of things, again, growing in popularity. The point being interacting with your audience, getting them to engage with you, trust you, and then can move on in the sales cycle. The fourth area that you might have heard of is native advertising, and what this really means is content-rich ads that look like they would be part of the publication. So for example, traditional native advertising might look like it were part of the website or part of the magazine or part of the newspaper, where if you've seen real detailed content talking about something, giving a lot of value, but then you'll see the paid advertisement just so you know it is an ad. That is traditional native advertising. It's being used more and more. The point is its content is very useful. It's to provide value. It's not just a buy this, buy this. It is educational. People will get something out of it by reading the free information, and then if they choose to engage more, then they can possibly lead to the sale that way. It's also nice because it's targeted to a specific audience. This can be great doing Facebook ads because you can get down and target so specifically to those demographics. And really the whole point is it's a larger narrative that gives value. So that is what the content-rich side of content marketing would be for these ads. Then moving on to the next big trend, again one that's been popular for a few years, but the whole idea of marketing automation, which is simply software that automates repetitive marketing activities. This includes email, CRM, social, web. And for us, these fit really easily into the boxes that we've typically called attract, capture, connect, and close as you take the ideal prospect through the sales process. So here's the whole view of this on the screen. We'll zoom in here to make it a little easier to read, where it starts off with attract. Attract is essentially the inbound marketing that you're doing, what you have out on the web, social, ads, PPC, the pay-per-click ads that you might be doing, which were pretty popular in Google AdWords, now moving over to Facebook as they're more affordable, but certainly wherever is right for your target market. Also some of the outbound with events, emails, calls, the engagements, presentation, literature. The point being, you're going to attract people wherever you can, and then it leads into your funnel. That's where you would capture, and you can capture people through just basic enter your email sign-up forms on your website. You can do it through texting in, through phoning in, through card scan, a lot of different ways to capture leads. But the point after that is where it goes, is after you've captured the lead, it's time to connect. And this is when the automated follow-up system happens. Mostly by email, but also through some of the systems there's text follow-up, there's direct-to-voicemail follow-up, letters and postcards. And really, when you're following up here, you remember that first point about having a strategy? All of this is laid out into campaigns. So the point being, you might do something for 1 week, then something for another week. It really just depends on what your goals are, but that is so important in setting up that strategy. So then you might be sharing white papers, videos, teleseminars, webinars, whatever it may be based on the items that you want to share. And then the last part is close, because we can say you can automate your marketing, but quite often you can't automate your sales, especially if you're in a service or high-end ticket business. This would be the personal phone calls and in-person follow-up to actually close the sales and to make the prospects turn into clients. So that's the whole piece on the marketing automation. The fourth one is outsourced marketing executives. Now, the point here is whenever you do something in life or in business, you want to focus on what you know best. Do what you do best and outsource the rest. And a good reason for this is really specific knowledge is key with the constant change. So much is going on in all the different areas of digital marketing, online marketing, all the rest, keeping up with the algorithms, the changes, and what you need to do. And I think Forbes said it best in their 13 marketing trends for 2017. It's by bringing to bear seasoned professionals from outside their own organizations who offer deep levels of proven expertise across a wide expanse of sectors and industries. Businesses can more quickly and efficiently realize significant, profitable growth. So if you aren't already, it might be wise to invest in those outside your organization who can bring in that expertise. Now, if you were looking for someone to do that, RevStream Marketing, we do this sort of thing. We, like we say, business growth strategists to attract, capture, connect, and close. That's our #1 selling book on the topic, Revolutionize Business and Life, and can certainly help in strategy and services. But want to jump into a couple that we have worked with this year and really just go through the case studies. These are real businesses that had real issues. We're going to show you what happened, what they did, and what the results were. So for case study #1, this is for Mitchell Mechanical, Heating and Air Conditioning, not just outside of Atlanta, in the Auburn, Georgia area. They are an HVAC contractor and really do provide outstanding service and great prices. Those that have worked with them love working with them. They had a desire to grow. And the issue was not enough people knew about them. They're not as big as some of the other HVAC companies that are spending a ton of money on huge billboard advertising and all that kind of stuff to get more clients. But they wanted to find a way that they could do it that worked for them. And also, they were not reaching out to their current or past customers. So, took on the project. Here's what we did. First off, strategic content marketing plan and calendar. You'll hear that quite a bit. That's where it starts. Start with the strategy all the time. Then the second part was marketing automation. Again, these are using the trends that we've just talked about. It was done by creating value-based content. This is through web, email, social, and then did survey and Facebook ads as well to be able to lead. And it might be difficult to see in the small images here, but the idea is that, like on the left-hand side, you see the Facebook post showing what an air filter should look like, not what the other image on there, what it should not look like. Again, just a point, sharing something of value, something that's helpful, that could likely be shared. The next is a screenshot of an email that went out, and this is just a do-it-yourself guide to HVAC cleaning and maintenance. Again, something helpful to grow the trust of your target market, give them something that can be of value, and so should they have the need, then they would think of you first. So where did this lead? Well, it led to a significant increase in website traffic, 10 times increase in social reach, traffic engagement, and significant increase in email views and clicks. Well, that's all well and good, but you could say, so what? If that's really what you're going for, just more likes, that doesn't always translate to more revenue. So we always like to say, again, it can be a popularity contest. If that's your goal, fine, go do it. That's easy to do. But you got to translate it into more business to be able to make a profit. So for an example, the result for a March 2017 campaign, Their new sales were 14.8 times the marketing investment, and that led to a profit that was 5.5 times the marketing investment. So I think that's one of the things that you think about, for your business. Would you want to spend $1,000 to get a $5,000 return? Now, there's with some multiple of that, but that's the idea here, and most people would say they would probably jump on something like that. So let's go on to case study 2. And this was a different audience, but still the same principles applied. In this case, we were working with a health technology company who provides Fortune 500 employers with population health management solutions. Now, they already understand the value of valuable content that educates. Their internal team was at capacity, and they needed assistance with content, the articles, blogs, PDFs, all the types of stuff that was going to be created to serve their clients. And obviously, when you are doing things for Coca-Cola, Southern Company, Pilot Flying J, and others of that caliber, the importance of making it quality and look good and be professional is obviously pretty important here. So, what were the results? You notice a trend following the content marketing plan and calendar. Created content to educate and provide value. These were the articles, the blog posts went up on the website, and then created educational PDFs for the employees at these Fortune 500 companies with calls to action. It resulted in increased numbers joining the platform, which is a really cool program because it's helping the employees improve their health and the employers to reduce their health-related cost. So really everybody won in these cases. Moving on, case study number 3, and you can tell we're bouncing back and forth between industries and size of companies. This one is for just a small local CrossFit gym, and they really focused on having outstanding coaching and getting results with their clients. But the issue seems to be a common theme. Not enough people knew about them. Also with them, there was no process to explain the benefits, essentially to pre-sell people or let them know what it was all about before they had that first interaction with the company. And it was a manual process before, where maybe a first phone call or a first drop-in at the gym was left without any knowledge beforehand. And so it was very inefficient, time-consuming, and wasn't working too well. So what happens? You create a mobile responsive website plus a text-based lead capture with a value-based marketing automation. Now, that's a lot of words. Basically what it means: create a website that looks great on desktop and mobile. You can opt in. The person that comes wants to learn more about it. They put their information in. They learn how it works. They can also do this through text-based lead capture, which means they see the phone number on a sign, maybe a banner at a baseball park or out front or on the sign out front. It says text in with your name and email address to learn more. They do that. They get the automated messages right back, which include videos that educate and inspire. The videos talk about success stories, they share the key movements, talk about what CrossFit and the methodology with this gym are all about. And when all that is done, what is neat is it leads to educated and inspired prospects. So the way this works is, before it was, like I said, no process at all, but now when these prospective gym members are already inspired, they now know they can come and get fit, get in shape, but they do so with a knowledge, seeing how it works, and they are then following up and leaving messages saying, I'm ready for my phone call, or they're actually going ahead and booking times for the call, all before the manager has had any interaction. It's all automated. And so where this went is it went from less than 50% close rate to over 95%. It went from less than 50% retaining their membership after they had joined to over 90%. And so the first time this was implemented, they doubled their membership. Did a few things, implemented the program again, doubled membership again. So it again goes back to educate, give value, and then it leads to good results. Moving on, number 4. This one was for a premier baseball and softball training academy. Yet again, outstanding people, wonderful coaching, results, and facility. They're opening 2 new locations, and they needed to increase the membership at the existing locations and needed people to hear about them for all their Atlanta locations. So what happened? This could look like a broken record now because this is all the stuff that's been done in all of these, right? All right, you create a strategic marketing plan, then create content marketing calendar based on that plan. create value-based educational content. This is mixed with promotional specials. Again, like we mentioned, value, value, value pitch. So their value might have been tips from the pros, what to practice during the off season. Then they could be another hitting drill. And a lot of this was videos, because video-based, interactive, gains that trust, just like we shared before. And then it might get to a pitch about a upgrade special or a new member special or free swings or whatever it may be. So how this was done was creating mobile responsive landing pages, automated email marketing that followed up automatically, videos, blog posts, social posts, flyers to give out in the facilities, and all of that led to the results. It was a grand opening campaign at the 2 locations to kickstart membership and increased membership at the existing locations. For one campaign, after membership had been trending down in 2 locations, they increased their membership by 27% and 30% by location. So again, some pretty impressive results. And throughout all of these, that's the idea on what's working right now in 2017. So putting it all together, again, pretty simple. Mobile marketing, content marketing, marketing automation, and outsourced marketing executives is what they had recommended as the trends in 2016 and what to pay attention to. So when you put all this together, look over at the left-hand side first. It's marketing strategy. You need to come up with a marketing plan so you know where you and your company want to go. The calendar goes in and details exactly where you're going to be doing the promotions, why you're going to be doing them, and put it all out on the calendar, your blog post, your articles, everything. So it's scheduled and structured. And then the marketing budget to make sure that this is part of your overall budget, where it makes sense, and again, all set up so you can get that return on the investment. The specific areas often get into content marketing, website, social, search, and then all types of marketing, email, mobile, video, and of course the analysis to make sure that it works well together. So at this point, you think these were some different industries. You're the industry expert of your industry. And I'd ask, have these examples sparked your own ideas? You think some of this would work for your company? And would you like help designing a plan? If you'd like, we offer a discovery session call. There's no cost or obligation at all. We're marketing advisors. We actually love helping and being a resource. So when we do these, we obviously treat you with respect. We don't spam, can't stand it, won't do it. And certainly respect your time. About 30-minute call, and actually guaranteed value, guaranteed not to waste your time. You can have some great value on the call. But the issue is we're obviously not able to have a call with everyone. So we'll talk about that here in a second. But we'll just want to make sure it's worth your while when you go through the call. So I'd say, are you ready to take action? Because action leads to results, right? So if you think it'd be valuable to take action, let's make it happen. Again, we love helping businesses grow and increase their profitability. Your success and time are very important to us. So really what we'd ask is you simply provide some basic information. On our website, RevStreamMarketing.com/apply, there's a basic form. I filled it out myself in a couple minutes just as a test. But the idea here is to make sure that we could actually help you. Like some people ask and say, could you help me with your marketing? Well, probably, but I really have no idea, and I certainly don't want to waste your time. We would need to know a little bit about, well, what are you doing? What are you not doing? What are the margins? What is the profitability? And if we can get a return on investment, then absolutely, let's start it with that free phone call. But if not, then I'll tell you, and I'll tell you we can't do it, but hey, you might want to go talk to these folks or do something else. So really, just take the time, fill out the info short form at RevStreamMarketing.com/apply, and we'll get going. Because I always like to say, like Tony Robbins, one of his quotes, what's talked about is a dream, what's envisioned is exciting, what's planned becomes possible, and what's scheduled is real. So if you think any of this was helpful and you think a phone call would be helpful, let's go ahead and schedule it and make it real. And in whatever you do, go forth to light, love, and serve the world, and live the life you've always imagined. Thanks so much. Hope you enjoyed this, and have an outstanding day. And there it is again, RevStreamMarketing.com/apply. Go ahead and fill out the form, and we will look forward to being in touch. Thanks.